obviously recording in progress. Okay, let me set this thing up. That was a good story, by the way. We can talk about that in a second here when we do This Is Your Life. Okay, starting the video recording for everybody. Jane Curth's going to be with us. We're going to talk about trends in boutique fitness and Jane's recovery. And so, Jane's long-term with us. And so, Jane, video's going, radio's not going yet, but we will be in a second. I couldn't tell. The lighting looked fine.
Okay, good. Well, I put it up. I mean, I'm trying to. Okay,
no,
good.
Looks good. No, it looks great.
Good.
So, got your topics. I got the PDF up over on the other side, which
okay.
I look at that and it's like, I don't see any slices of that pie in the media stuff like what I do. And it's like, oh, see, that's where I say opportunity, baby. This is where I promote people. And this is where you get to meet people. And it's like, well, you cut your own path. As much as people say, well, you got to find your niche. And I don't really have a niche with all of our topics, as you know, but we are in this lane of video, radio, podcasting. And that's the lane. It's the topics are
right.
long, but the delivery, and maybe I'll do some more speaking, but we'll see about that. I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely not going to do any more. I mean, we got enough going on with, I want to, the thing I talked about last night, I want to get more involved with doing course planning and maybe recording is doing that kind of stuff. That's why I'm working so hard on my personal fitness so that I can be my own model. And it's like we talked about, you gotta show them the package so that people believe the freaking deal. And it's like,
that's right.
So, and you can't have that fear, right? You can't have the fear like you putting yourself on the video doing your exercise demos. I mean, it's like you gotta embrace it. You gotta be like, hey, this is fun. This is cool. This is good. I'm talking to the camera here for people out there. In this retirement zone, Jane and I talked last night. It's either retirement or refinement, and this is non-radio specific because we got a whole nother topic we're talking about. So I'm just talking to the viewers in this pre-show. But FitFix Now is a great fit for us because, I utilize Jane's services and we promote her. She promotes us. She helps us. We help them. That's the way it works. And if you want to retire and go that way, that's absolutely totally cool. But both of us, Chris, Sandy, our spouses, we're refiring. We're absolutely blasting off. I mean, it's like, this is the real deal, everybody. So I'm on board.
That's right. The more the merrier.
Joining us from her home in her studio in Atlanta, Ms. Jane Curth. Let me minimize this. All right, let's get this bad boy going. Let's see here.
Okay.
I got a sound check for you. You sound good.
Great.
All right, let's go. I need you for, the usual hour.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Here we go. Wait a minute. What happened? I didn't hear music.
I'm going to take a sip of water.
Yeah, go ahead. I didn't hear music.
Let me, hang on. I've got their fans going above head. Let me take them.
Oh, I can't hear those.
Okay.
That's fine. Oh, that's where it is.
I don't need them.
Oh, I see what happened here. Oh, okay. Hold on. This has got to get stopped. I'm going to have to restart this session because I had my cursor in the wrong spot.
Okay.
I see what's going on. Okay. I got to exit this. Save project. No. Let me start Reaper again. It happens. See, I'm glad and this again is our Wisconsin setup. So anybody on video that's watching this thing, and my computer just went a little nuts because I had something set wrong. So I'm restarting my session. So I apologize for that, but that's all right. Jane Curth is our guest, as we were talking about earlier, and we're going to talk some good stuff here. -A. Save. Now we can do this. I'm glad I caught that ahead of time because then it's just like, okay, here we go. All right, Jane, let me try this again. At least I saw what the hell I was doing wrong. It's all about learning.
It sure is.
Just saying on video, everybody who's watching this in video land here down the road, keep working, get in there. Don't be afraid to try things. If things get goofed up, just move past it. Don't sweat it. If you're doing media stuff, you're doing speaking, things are going to break, things are going to happen. Just roll with it. Just be good with it. Just say, hey, take it as a learning experience. Here we go. Last week on this radio program, the Tom Matt Show, I was so grateful to have Dr. Don Lehman on as our guest, the metabolic transformation kingpin, protein doctor, University of Illinois emeritus. Learned more about protein. I cannot wait to get him back. I cannot wait to cut up that video. I cannot wait for all of you to get a chance to hear that. So if you missed the broadcast, please go get the podcast because it was so outstanding. And I found him through, I want to give some plug to Dr. Peter Attia and his podcast, because that's where I found Dr. Lehman, Don, my friend. And guy's just amazing. I learned so much about protein in an hour. It was just greatness. Well, of course, we talked a couple times this week. All right. Jane Curth. Oh my gosh. We have developed such a great friendship over time, and Jane has just got so many good things going on. We complement our work together. Jane is taught college over 20 years. I'll do a quick, real snapshot. Jane's been with us enough times that you can go check all of our fitness, nutrition and fitness category on the website. Everybody, you can find Jane's podcast there. She's presented many times, local, national conferences, ACE. She's a certified trainer. She is a professor, retired, got into FitFix Now. We've talked about FitFix Now, what FitFix Now does, how she became such an expert in digital class work and classroom work and demo work and all this kind of stuff. In addition to being the CEO of FitFix Now, Jane is a consultant for Silver Sneakers. I always like to say this part. And the former member of the Over 50 Hip Hop Atlanta Dance Group. I got to say that every time. I mean,
yes.
He knows what I'm talking about, too. The Silver Classics crew, where she performed with the Silver Classics crew at several Atlanta Hawks games, doing some dancing and partying and having a good old time. She lives in Atlanta. She's joining us from her studio in Atlanta, where she's married to her great husband. We're going to see them not too long. We're going down there. We're going to do some work. First thing, going to see Chris, going to see Jane. We're going to have a blast. It's going to be good time. Well, welcome back to the show. We're going to call this one Trends in Boutique Fitness, everybody. I want to welcome back my friend, sister from another mister, Jane Curth. Jane, welcome back.
Yes, Tom, it is so great to be back. It's always great to connect with you and Sandy, and I love the work that y'all are doing.
Well, I appreciate that. It's really interesting that we cross paths in such the crazy way that it's just the way the universe works. And next thing you know, I don't even know how many years later, it's just been a great thing for us. So let's do the usual. This is your life.
Yeah.
How is the fam? How is the grandkids? Chris, everybody, go ahead. Take your time with all that. We got a great topic today, everybody. So please stick around for this one. But go ahead, talk about the family, get everybody caught up. You know how we do this.
Okay. Oh yeah. The family's great. The 9-year-old grandson is playing soccer. We'll go tomorrow and watch him. The 4 and 5-year-old grandkids in New Orleans are doing great too. We've seen them for both their birthdays this year and did a week-long vacation with them. It's a high quality of life for Chris and me. We enjoy life. My challenge with Chris is telling him don't overdo. Because we'll talk today some about recovery and how important recovery is. Right. So he's doing great. My recovery, if your listeners remember, or if they didn't listen to that episode, I fractured my patella probably a year and 4 to 5 months ago. I am actually still in physical therapy because when you have an injury like that, and I wasn't allowed to even bend my knee for weeks and weeks and weeks, your gait you know, she had to really walk me through how to walk again and not look strange when I was doing it. I was used to walking with my leg absolutely straight. And as far as going up and down stairs, I'm doing that easily now. But my hips and pelvis kind of out of whack from all of that. So I so appreciate my physical therapist, Jasmine, who is at Emory University Hospital. Um, she is determined to get me whole and back, not just the knee, but everything that went out of kilter with that. So,
so that's a really good intro into where part of the episode today, everybody. Let me reset this just real quick. Jane Curth is with us, CEO of FitFix Now, founder of FitFix Now, talking about an incident that occurred a while ago for Jane within the last year and a half or so. In the previous episodes, we have discussed this recovery thing and injury because falls absolutely are one of the most debilitating situations for the growing older population, as I like to say. So we're gonna talk about that a little more in depth farther into the show. Talk more about the family and what's been happening with the business and how your son's been helping you, because you've been making some, and we'll talk about this as well throughout the show. But the changes you've made with FitFix Now and the social media that you're doing and the outreach have been tremendous.
Well, thank you. And I like to credit our wonderful partner and friend, Atlanta Digital Marketing, Katie Cochran. Katie has done an excellent job with our social media, and she likes to tease things out when something new's coming out, you know, kind of saying something new and exciting's coming. Here's a preview. So Katie's been doing that. Blake, my son, who is a co-founder, and he's really our CMO. He works on the marketing. He has really worked to boost our search engine optimization, our SEO. Hopefully, most of the time we're showing up on the first page of Google, which is great for us. So we continued to grow this year. We've had a good year. It's exciting. You know, new things are in the works all the time. There'll be probably early 2024. Hopefully we'll be able to make a really exciting announcement, but I'll just tease that out for right now.
Yeah, that's good. Now that's exactly where we wanted to go with this, everybody. We're talking, and when we're going to come up on break here in a couple of minutes. So let me set this up again. Jane Curth is back with us. Jane is a regular with the programming because, you know, we are, if we're not talking about mental health, we're going to talk about physical health and nutritional health. Those are some really big topics, along with our financial fitness and our reality of real estate with our sponsors for sure. All of our topics, all 12 topics on the website, are very, very important for us to cover. But there are some that rank, as Jane was saying, a little bit higher on the search engine. Well, with us, that's the same here. I mean, the way we feel about things, because there are certain things that you need to understand going forward. So trends in boutique fitness and Jane's recovery. Jane, we got a minute before we go to break. Just give us a snapshot of what you're thinking here, and then I'll give you the signal and we'll go to break.
Well, recovery is now a very hot, important issue in fitness. And, you know, we'll talk a little bit later if you want to about my Aura ring that I wear.
Yep.
And you know, there's some great devices to help us in recovery, and professional athletes are really taking advantage of recovery so that they can really perform at an optimal level.
And I have to say, to follow up with that whole thought, having Dr. Lehman on last week, who is a protein expert, everybody, talking about studies and having long-term studies and data to back up all of the stats that support what we're talking about is vitally important. And that's one of the reasons that since the year 2000, frankly, so many things have occurred that have like elevated our knowledge base, because we have the technology. We just have learned so much more. and it's a wonderful time to be alive. All right, so here we go. Jane Curth, we're going to go to break here. Jane Curth is back. Trends in boutique fitness, plus her recovery and personal recovery for you. You're listening to the Tom Matt Show. Cake. So easy.
Yeah, it's just easy talking to you. You make it easy.
Thanks. Yeah, no, it's been fun stuff. Just fun stuff. All right. Get my card here.
Yeah, what do you want to kind of go into in the next segment?
Well, I'm going to jump right into your recovery first.
Okay.
Some of the things that you haven't talked about, but the length of time. And I like the fact that you discussed getting you back to normal and setting expectations for people, because one of the things I know for me personally, that people start to feel better after an injury and they get going too fast and then they re-injure. They need to understand what you're talking about with this recovery and listening to their docs, maybe get a second opinion, but taking it slow, because and we're older. As we grow older, it takes longer, unfortunately, but that's the way it is. I mean, so start there and then we'll work our way into the trends with all of this. And
okay.
I'm just going to riff right on your email, and I've got that chart, that PDF up.
Okay.
Over here. Computers quit blinking on me, which they like to do. Sure, it's just got a read to do here. So let me do this quick, and then we'll get going. Welcome back to the radio program, Tom Matt Show, everybody. This segment is sponsored by Craig Stiles, Ameriprise Financial, our Ameriprise financial advisor, and hopefully yours as well moving forward. Craig has been helping us for a long time, and now he's officially been a sponsor for several years. And we have all of our retirement zone savings with Craig. Craig's our man. He's the guy. I like to do the cheerleading thing. Ameriprise Financial Advisor Craig Stiles can help you, like he's doing with us, helping you and us plan for the life you want today and well into the future. Again, with the right financial advisor, life can be brilliant. Be-ism. Please call Craig 1-800-528-1355. Local numbers 517-483-4893. I have referred many people over to Craig Stiles from Michigan State University who said, hey, I heard that on radio. How do I get a hold of Craig? And this is the way we do it. I mean, he gets these phone numbers. You can go to our website. You can do it at the bottom of the homepage. I'll give you his website in just a second here in his email. But again, the phone numbers, 800-528-1355 and 517-483-4893. And his offices are located at 2400 Lake Lansing Road, Suite B as in Brilliant, Lansing, Michigan. Great thing about Ameriprise, as I say every show, they're a nationwide company. Just like we do with Brock, and Keller Williams, who is another nationwide company. That's what makes having the podcast and outreach so impactful for all of you. Stations carrying us, broadcast network on radio, AM, FM, PBS, all the way across the board. WGHN 92.1 FM in Grand Haven, Michigan on the Lake Shore, WGM 1240 AM, Lansing, Michigan, the flagship of the Michigan Talk Network, which we are on 50 plus stations. WJRW 1340 AM in Grand Rapids carried us for a long time. WKLQ 1490 Muskegon Whitehall, WYPV FM 94.5 Mackinac City, and of course, the flamethrower at Michigan State University, our PBS affiliate, which we want more PBS. If there's anybody out there in the PBS land, I'd like to be on more PBS affiliates. We got the perfect package for you for an hour-long weekend show, and we've been on WKR at Michigan State for like 5 years. So hit me up. Go to our contact box and send me a note on that. I'd love to talk to people about that. AM 870 in East Lansing, blasting the signal, and 102.3 FM on the simulcast. Again, thank you to Craig Stiles for creating Decideri Analytics, where we are making light of weighted decisions. That's his proprietary algorithm. And the Michigan Talk Network, Steve and Ivy Gruber. Thank you guys so much for carrying us on the syndication. We have our books on Amazon. Please check those out. There's 4 of them there. Jane Curth is back. Trends in boutique fitness. Before we get into the trends, it's so exciting what's coming with trending in 2024 and forward of health, wellness, recovery, all of these things. let's talk specifically, Jane, about your recovery. You started the thread of your injury. You told the listeners a little bit about that. There's a previous show that we did almost exclusively on that. And so you're a year plus into this recovery stage. What's your vibe right now? How are you doing? What's your vibe right now? And what would you like to share with the listeners that you believe is impactful that they need to know?
Yeah, Tom, when I think back pre injury, my modes of training were in cardio. I've never really been a runner. I've done intervals. So I would do intervals for cardio, maybe Zumba classes, and for mostly for strength. I do some weights, but I preferred to do body weight resistance with doing yoga. I was avid about yoga. I loved it. Loved it. In recovery, like I said, I had to learn to really know how to walk again with the correct gait. And so I would start out just walking, but it had to be level. Then the PT would say, okay, you can add a few hills now. So slowly progressing. I still haven't done a lot of interval training yet. I may be overcautious, but I want to recover well. And I had an orthopedist that told me that I needed to be doing an unbelievable amount of weight on leg press, and I needed to be doing squats with a 50-pound kettlebell. And I'm like, that just doesn't sound right for me, especially from being injured. So I switched orthopedics, and he said, no, you need to listen to, you've got a great physical therapist. You need to listen to her. So I have. And my mode of training now, of course, along with walking, a few intervals here and there, I have really gotten into Pilates. The first thing I did with Pilates was there's a physical therapy clinic near my house that is a private pay physical therapist, and they have a few classes during the week. And I started out going to a mat Pilates class taught by a physical therapist, no more than 6 in the class. So she was very intense on form, making sure everything was positioned right. So that was amazing. Through giving a review of her facility, I won a month at a Pilates franchise that uses the reformer. And if you're not familiar with the reformer, Chris says it looks like a medieval torture box. But it's not. I've known about Pilates since I was a dancer. And in the 80s, dancers would train on the Pilates reformer doing Pilates. So it felt very familiar to me. I love the reformer. It is so good for body alignment, body placement. So that has been, I do Pilates. I try to do it now 4 times a week.
Wow.
Just because it's been so important in my recovery, and I'm building strength like crazy. Pilates is all core. It is so core based. And so I'm getting stronger and back to my normal routine.
What would you like to say to the listeners out there about time and our most precious resource in the recovery phase? You got a minute to go before we go to break here, and I just a quick answer on that. What would you like to share with the listeners just in a snapshot?
As far as length of workout?
Length of working out, how long before you can feel like you're back to normal?
To begin to feel like you're back to normal, you really have to listen to your body. Anything that bothered my knee or hip, I said, no, I'm not doing that. So I really listened to my body. As far as length of working out, it has to be progressive, that progressive overload. Like our body gets used to the demands that we put on it. So I started out walking for 10 minutes. And then I would increase it as I got healthier and healthier. So really knowing your body and when you're ready to increase it. Don't stay at that same level because your body gets used to it and doesn't respond.
All right. And when we come back, we're going to talk about what people can expect with that, because that leads us into the recovery aspect of the show and the nichiness of what's coming with boutique fitness. Jane Curth is here. She's our expert on all things trendy in fitness and exercise. FitFix Now CEO. Tom Match. Got to do a quick read for me, and then we'll jump right back. Just finish the thread of people just being when you start feeling better, to understand that that's when things can go wrong, because
yes,
especially with back problems, but with you gave a good intro into that. Let's just kind of finish. I'll just say, hey, Jane, let's finish the thread on what you would like people to realize. And it's just to remind people, when you start feeling better, chill.
Yeah. Don't overdo.
Right. There we go. Third segment of the Tom Matt Show is sponsored by us for now. I think we have a new one coming on here very soon. Again, sponsorships for our radio program we're very, very selective. So to be a segment sponsor, which we have one other one available, you could reach out to us and you'll be embedded with our radio programs. But the simplest way to connect with us is via our website, tommattshow.com. Please go there, check the contact box. Away you go. The YouTube presence is there. The TikTok buttons are there. All of these things, Twitter, all of the carriers for the podcast are there. So whatever flavor you like, either, Google Play or iTunes or whatever, Spotify, any of those, they're all there. They're all on that website. Please go there. We want to build an engaged society and team. That's why a person like Jane Curth or Dr. Don Lehman, who was on last week, our expert now in protein, trying to help people live longer and prosper, just like Mr. Spock would say. The whole thing is about the 3 C's, everybody. The 3 C's of community, collaboration, and cooperation. The R for Z, the refinement zone, as we call it, is all about it. That's what we're all about, and that's what we're going to be all about, always. Jane Curth is with us, Trends in Boutique Fitness. Jane, let's finish the thread. We ran out of time last segment about the recovery with your injury, and you had a couple quick things for listeners out there just to kind of keep in mind. We're not preaching, everybody. We're coming. This is straight from us because we've been there and we've gone through this, and Jane has gone through this. What would you like to add on to the end of that? And then we'll start talking a little more on the recovery side of boutique fitness. Go right ahead, please.
Yeah, Tom, I think it's essential for people who are recovering from an injury to realize that they're still in recovery and not to overdo it. When they're feeling better, to jump back in full force. You cannot, your body can't do that. And you're just going to either make that injury worse or create a new injury, which you don't want. Safety is the most important thing. I also want to encourage the listeners that if they're recovering from an injury, and let's say they're at the gym lifting some weights, don't feel like you're in competition with anybody else. I struggle with that all the time. I'll go in Pilates class and I'm like, okay, I've got to be able to do this because the girl next to me is doing it great. I encourage you to stay away from that. Know when to modify. It's not a bad thing.
That's right. That's absolutely right. One of the reasons I still train at the university when I'm in Michigan, which is a good chunk of our months, is because I want to remind myself that as one of the older, if not the oldest, I'm right up there. There's only a few of us there. Well, because it's a college, it's a university.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so I've had to dial back my work, and it's just a good check to know that you can still have great workouts and you don't have to be what you were doing 25, 30 years ago, because
exactly
And what Jane is saying, we have both been through, you start feeling better, especially with like a lower body injury or a back injury. When you start feeling better and you're just so happy you're feeling better, you go out and you do something, and then boom, you're knocked back on the couch. Neither one of us as fitness professionals, neither one of us want to see that happen for you. All right. So good segue, jumping off point here for the rest of the program, everybody. When Jane wants to talk about, and I want to discuss this with her as well, on the increase in wellness services. We're going to spend the bulk of the rest of the show talking about this because, well, Jane, you can explain it, and in the big grasp here, take some time here in this segment to kind of lay it out. You know this industry really well. You've seen the trends. You do the studies. Go right ahead, please. Let's talk about this.
Yeah. Tom, one of our previous talks together, we talked about the Blue Zone communities and where people live a high quality of life into their 90s and 100s. And if you haven't seen it, there's a great Netflix documentary, a 4 or 5 part series on the Blue Zones, and it's excellent. It's very good. But that, I think, the wellness concept, that it's not just physical fitness. There's our emotional health, and I love you told me about Dr. Peter Attia book, and it's a phenomenal book. But in it, he says, if we, this was in the introduction, I thought, what if we work out and do great things and ignore our emotional well-being? Then it kind of goes to waste. So we want to look at the whole person, the whole area of wellness, and include all the parts. And I think the fitness community is really beginning to realize that.
It's taken a little while for things to catch up, but like I mentioned, and I've said a couple of times during this episode, Jane Curth, our guest today, everybody, talking about trends in fitness and the boutique industry in fitness, because that's really where the emphasis is going, is very targeted work, targeted recovery. But it really comes down to the tech. It comes down to how much more knowledge that we have. Again, as I mentioned, talking about Dr. Lehman. Right. Yes, last week's interview with the protein expert, they just, as we were younger, us younger baby boomers, we did not have that tech that they have now, that our young people have. And that's the cool thing about what we do, Jane, is we get to collaborate with the young people like your staff and your son and all of these younger people, all these trainers that you have. I get to do the same thing with the college students, as I was mentioning. It really helps keep us fresh and on top of our games, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It really does. And I want to encourage the listeners to embrace technology. I know a lot of people fear it if you're not under 30, or under 40, but embrace it. Like I mentioned earlier, I wear this Aura ring. There are several recovery devices, but the two that are the most popular are the Aura ring and the Whoop band. And I wear an Apple Watch, and my Apple Watch every day lets me know if I hit my goals. Well, these are preset goals that it's testing me on. It doesn't take into account if, say, when I would have a COVID vaccine, I would run a low-grade fever during the night, and the next day, the Aura Ring app would tell me your body temperature was elevated, your resting heart rate was higher than normal. You need to rest today. But if I listen to my Apple Watch, which Chris calls them the rings of shame, because they shame you if you don't complete those rings, you can't rely on that. There are days you need to recover, and professional athletes are finding that out now. And the Whoop band has added into it strain. So when you do resistance training, it tracks that. And my Aura Ring now has implemented daytime stress. So I can look at my chart and it's based on heart rate and heart rate variability to know whether I'm relaxed, restored, engaged, or stressed. And very interesting.
But and the thing is, the thing that I'm catching for this, you got the Whoop band, you got the Aura Ring, you got the Apple Watch.
Yes.
My fear with the Apple Watch, and this is no offense, I'm going to carry this through because we're going to come up on break here. I'm looking at our clock. We got about 30 seconds to go. I told Sandy this recently because I was looking at Apple Watches. Our grandson has an Apple Watch now because long story with all of that. But I'm like, well, maybe I want to get an Apple Watch. But the thing is I've had polar heart rate monitors. I've had 2 of them, the really good ones.
Right.
Back in the day. I broke both of the watch. I'm so hard on these things. It's like, I know I'll break them. And so it's like, probably not my cup of tea. The Aura Ring would probably be something that would work for me. And everybody's a little bit different. I'm going to take this through everybody because we're coming up on break. Jane Curth is our guest. Trends in boutique fitness industry. Nicheville. Here we go. Talking tech. We're going to talk more about this. Again, Jane Curth, our guest. This is the Tom Mann Show. Cake. Do Brock's read. Keep on keeping on. Jane, I was thinking I would go to the chart now, the future trends from and we could just probably wrap the whole next 2 segments with that. So it's so interesting the way it's broke down. So you good with that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's do this. I'll get my Brock read. Love doing radio. You guys on video. Love doing this stuff. So fun. Here we go. If you've never watched any of the video, you guys on radio, if you ever watched any of our videos, you might want to do it once in a while. Just go see what goes on between the scenes, between each segment, and me talking to the camera, talking to our guests, setting things up. It's pretty interesting, actually. And I personally now I like watching it when I edit the video. So welcome back to the radio program. The sponsor for our 4th segment is, of course, Brock, with the selling team of Keller Williams Realty Trust. Just sent him another client. In this environment where we're at now with real estate, if you do not have somebody that you trust, like a Brock Fletcher, and full disclosure, Mike Dedman was our buyer's agent for Little House Lansing. Brock Fletcher, the man, the real guy, was our seller's agent for Big House Holt. And he hit the number spot on. Perfect. I mean, it worked out so great. It's because of the trust that we have with him. A couple of phone numbers here, everybody. 517-853-6408. Okay, 6408. Here's the super secret, not so super secret cell phone number to Brock's pocket. Text him, call him, leave him a voicemail. He will get back to you. He changes his greeting every day. I say that occasionally, how much I appreciate that, being the former telecom kind of geek that I am. 517-303-3262. Go to kwsellingteam.com, kwsellingteam.com. Again, both of our sponsors, Craig, Brock, our homepage, tommannshow.com. Bottom of the homepage, go there. Click on the banners. Away you go. I don't know. We got to put Jane up there too. We got to put her. We just want you to be able to click through to the people that we support and who are regulars with us. So please go to the bottom of that homepage and you'll find several different sponsors, maybe not sponsors, just friends to us, but we want to support and get the knowledge out there and make it easy for you guys to search. That's the whole point of the website. Again, selling team of Keller Williams Realty. We appreciate them. They support us. They're our 4th segment sponsor, and we utilize their services, have in the past, and 100% endorse my friend Brock Fletcher. All right, back to our show today. Trends in boutique fitness. Jane Curth is with us, and we're talking the trends in boutique fitness. I'm going to go to a chart, which I will put up on the website when we have this going here down with the podcast. I'll link back to it for you guys, and you can find this. But Jane's going to talk about this because it's future trends in the fitness industry, and I found this to be very fascinating. It's a little complicated, but it's colorful. and it really breaks things down. And I just wanted Jane to kind of just riff on all of them, because I found the stats and the numbers, Jane, to be quite interesting. Some of them are very evenly paced, and then there's some big chunks that are like, looks like they're planning on dominating this whole area. Go right ahead, please.
Well, Tom, when I found this study or this survey that I think it was Mariana Tech, which is a boutique fitness software, did to come up with these wellness trends. When you think of wellness trends, you want people to think that they need to eat right, they need to stay hydrated, they need relaxation, they need sleep, which a lot of people don't get enough of, and they really need to stretch their body. So, in looking at the wellness trends, the document also stated that boutique fitness facilities are growing. They're getting more and more popular.
Right.
So as they grow in popularity, they want to add more options for their customers to live a healthier, complete wellness lifestyle. So as we can see, 32% are bringing in nutritional services, and that's to help their clients eat better. I know that some facilities I can think of locally, they now have a registered dietitian that their clients or customers can consult with. They're bringing in recovery classes. It may be, there's a big rise in these franchise stretch facilities. You may have seen Stretch Lab, Stretch Zone. I know in Atlanta, they're both here in several locations. They're franchises. So stretching is very important, but also in recovery, they want to think about sleep. Sleep is a huge part of recovery. And that's why when I mentioned the Aura Ring, I track my sleep. Chris has an Aura Ring. And it's funny because every morning, one of us will say to the other, well, how'd you sleep? And we'll say, I don't know. I got to check. I got to check my Aura Ring, because the app, because it lets you know if you got enough deep sleep and enough REM sleep. And of course you're probably going to get enough light sleep. That's usually never a problem. 20% from this chart that we're talking about bring in recovery classes, and I think especially stretching is part of that. Another big portion is the meditation and breath work.
Can I hold it for just a second there, Jane? Sorry, I don't mean to
Yeah.
interrupt.
No.
See, in looking at this chart, 32%, let me reiterate what Jane was saying, everybody. 32% are nutritional services, and then another 20% are recovery classes. This is from a chart, Future Trends, from MarianaTech.com, that I will link back to so you guys can find this. But that's 52% of the chart are just in those two areas.
Yes.
So obviously, everybody, they're finding that the trends moving forward, the science, the tech, the money is going into these new niche, unique boutique areas of these facilities. And so that's just, be aware. That's to me, Jane, that was a big number. That just kind of 52%. It's like, wow, that's large.
Absolutely. That is a very large area to show the importance of it and how people really want these things now in their life.
Then you add in your next component where you're going on the chart, your 16%. That just ties back to the nutritional and the recovery classes. So you could actually, in my mind, Jane, you could put meditation and breath work in with recovery classes.
Absolutely.
Be part of the same thing. So just keep that in mind, everybody. When you see this, you might think, well, isn't that the same thing? Well, sort of. I mean, right? I mean, that's part of what your classes teach at FitFix Now too.
Yes, and I personally teach a stretch and relax class every Tuesday at Atlanta Tech Village. We have co-working space there, and for 30 minutes a lot of the young people there will come in and stretch and relax, and I have them breathe through, you know, the whole class. I'm coaching them on breathing, and at the very end we take 5 minutes for, in yoga it would be called a shavasana, but you lay there and it's more meditative. So
Okay,
I
so
teach that once a week.
On the selfish part of Tom's life, I'm gonna put this right out there right now, because we're coming down to see Jane and Chris. Sandy and I are in January, early February of next year. What day is that class, and can we go do that class with you?
Absolutely, absolutely. Chris goes with me a lot to do it.
What day does that fall on? Because we're going to schedule.
It's always on a Tuesday.
Tuesdays. Okay, you said that.
Tuesday at noon. Yeah.
All right. Tuesday at noon. All right. So if anybody's in Atlanta at the Tech Village in early February, late January of 2024, you could look for us over there doing the thing.
That's right. Tom, we'll promote it that you're coming.
Hey, that'd be great. You know, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
I love this. Well, this is the whole thing about it. When you interact, and I have made, Jane, I got to tell you, I'm going to carry this through too, because I've only got
to
go. I have made more connections at the university gym this year with students than any of my other 25 years. I mean, it's very interesting. I have a little black book, everybody, that's just tattered. I used to write all my workouts in and all this stuff, but now I just use it for writing down students' names, years, majors, you know, how I can help them, who I can introduce them to, so forth and so on. And I'm on my second page, and I've never done that before in this semester. And we're, you know, 2/3 away into the semester. That's really good. And it's really cool. And it's like this, the students finally, post-COVID, the students are receptive. They really are embracing the older guy trainer in the gym who was over there just getting it done. And, you know, you make that eye contact with them. They see that you're a regular. They see that you're for real. And I like to prove my worth by just showing up every day and doing my work. And people will notice. That's the thing about going to Jane's course, because when you go to these courses and you teach these courses, people develop this respect factor. So keep that in mind when you're going to the gym. Don't be intimidated by the younger folk, because they're all there. They're doing the same thing. Jane Curth is with us. Trends in boutique fitness. We're going through future trends. When we come back, we're going to finish the show with that. You're listening to the Tom Man Show.
I've written down 3 things that I want to talk to you after we're finished.
Okay.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah. All right, here we go. This is your plug, Jane. So speaking, classes, books, whatever you want to plug.
Okay.
Do your soft lead for your the new thing, which we know is coming. All of that good stuff. So but make sure you plug FitFix Now for I'm going to be doing my research, as I told you, probably in November, December. I'm going to start my classes and hopefully have them done, but maybe I'll do them all down south. I don't know. We'll see. I like having stuff done ahead of time. I'm proactive when it comes to that, but I'm
too.
Yeah. You know how that goes. But I'm going to throw it to you coming out of break here. Okay.
Okay.
Go. This segment of the Tom Matt Show is where we plug the heck out of our guests. And for all of you out there who are just picking this up on the podcast and the radio stations that carry us for the 5th segment, thank you for carrying us on the 5th segment. There are a lot of stations in the syndication that do not. And for those of you, just please go. If you miss any portion of the show, any portion at all, go to the website, tommattshow.com, and you can pick up all the podcasts. Very easy to find, very easy to sort and search. Please go there. All right. You want to get a hold of Jane? You want to talk to the FitFix Now people? You want to just talk to Alan, whatever, Chris, the whole family down there? How do we do it? Jane's about to tell us. Go right ahead, Jane.
Well, Tom, you know, at FitFix Now, we're always trying to know what the trainers, even fitness enthusiasts, are interested in. And this document that we talked about, you know, really gave us some insights. Of course, we're including the nutritional survey. You know, we've already got the nutrition courses that are from registered dietitians. But some of the newer things we're wanting to do, I actually recorded a course yesterday with one of our course partners on working with clients on their body image, which I think is huge. And something you said earlier, she actually said this. She said, don't compare yourself with your younger self as far as body image goes.
Right.
And you know, and you mentioned when we were talking about comparing, don't say, well, I used to lift this amount of weight when I was in my 20s. So we're excited about that course. The one we're really excited about, we just got back on Monday from a trip to Lexington, Kentucky to record this class. We recorded it at one of our partners' gyms. She's got two very successful gyms in Lexington, Kentucky. And so Chris, Blake, and I drove to Lexington and filmed these classes. And it's going to have to do with stretch. Because, you know, in my younger years, I was a ballet dancer and I owned a ballet studio for 14 years. Stretch has always been a huge part of my life. So as it's becoming more important in the recovery zone, we thought, you know, we really need to get a really big, important stretch class out there. So we're going to be talking small group stretching, assisted isolated stretching, all kind of things to give trainers more things in their toolbox that they can pull out and offer to their clients. I love that I feel like we have an exponential reach. You know, Chris calls it compound interest, but we train the trainers and they train their clients, and it's about that meaningful good work to helping people be healthier and live a higher quality of life.
100% agree with everything she just said. All of this compounding, all of it helping with people. And the other thing to be aware of too is the opportunities, everybody. Perhaps you don't want to be a personal trainer. You might want to go into the management side, or you might want to go into the ownership side or the franchisee side, or you might want to go into the stretch side, because all of these boutique areas that we're going to continue talking about here, some of them don't require an extensive CPT, although I would encourage you to eventually CPT. You could start out on a lower scale and get into the business and see if you like this. And anytime you get training in the physical fitness, activities to promote movement area, boutique fitness, any of this, it's going to help your life, because these things will transfer to you personally, because you're not going to be able to teach these things unless you walk the walk. If you don't walk the walk, your clients are not going to pay you to help them. So that's the bottom line on all this. So I like what you said, Jane, and give the website one more time so people know exactly where we're going with FitFix Now. Please go right ahead.
Okay, it's fitfixnow.com. And our email address, if you just write either jane@fitfixnow.com or info@fitfixnow.com, we're always happy. We really want to focus on customer service.
I'm sorry, Jane, I didn't mean to step on you, but it's I just want to remind you, like we do with every time Jane's here, that the courses that are offered at FitFix Now, they are research courses for personal training, but they're available to anyone. And if you're interested in learning at a very, very reasonable cost, and let me tell you, I've been certified for 14 years now. Every 2 years, I have to get these research. I know about taking courses. I know how much courses cost. I know how much time invested. The thing I love about Jane's courses, they're bite-sized, they're cost-effective, they're doable, where some of these other courses are so massively long and they're expensive. It's like, oh, but you know, the courses, you have such a wide variety, Jane. It's really interesting. Leading us back to our chart, because we've talked about nutritional services that are on the chart, that's 32%. And then you talked about the 20% of the recovery classes. Now we're talking about the new trends in boutique fitness now, everybody. And this will be the link I'll put up on the website for Jane's recap. And then the 16% was meditation, breath work, which kind of goes into the recovery. Jane, let's finish the rest of the show talking about those other subsections of that chart. So, and where you think that's important. What do you think they're all important? I mean, I believe they're all important. I think you will too, but it's just an interesting breakdown. Go right ahead, please.
Yeah. Next, it goes into the ice baths or the cryotherapy. And
what's your feeling with the ice bath, Jane? Because
I do not want to do them.
there ain't no way. There ain't no way. I've done ice baths at the Michigan Athletic Club before.
Yeah.
Like these ice plunges that they do with these, not happening.
Yeah. And when we were at URSA, the big, conference, there were the cryotherapy, like, things that you step into, and you can see the cold coming out of them. And I am not ready for it. I'm sure it serves a because icing is so important for injuries. There's physiological principles of why it works. I just don't feel like it's for me.
And that's the thing about this boutique fitness, everybody.
Yes.
You can pick and choose. And as you find gyms that will offer different services and amenities, then you know how to choose and invest and don't think about spending money, everybody. Think about investing in your health, because being ill, being sick is very expensive. And you might think on the back end, I can't afford that. You can't afford not to, because especially the growing older population. And hey, God bless all the athletes that are out there, professional athletes in the chirotherapy. I have seen it. I have seen the demos, and I'm not opposed to trying, but I've done the ice baths, and it's like, but hey, if they're effective and you're at a high level performer, good for you. Go for it. I say go for it. What do you got next, Jane?
They talk about massage, or a spa in the boutique fitness. Massage is great. It the thing, massage, the therapist is moving your muscles around, but I prefer stretch, even if it's the assisted isolating stretches, because it moves the muscles. The person is actively helping in that. But massage is great. Massage is great and serves a big purpose.
Utilize massage, and Jane and I were talking about this stretch that I do, my lower body stretch that I do with people when I train them. And I get down and dirty and it's painful. It's like a deep tissue massage, but it's deep stretching. And so, and every person I've done this move on that I've learned at Michigan State, watching all the big football players getting stretched by the trainers, everybody that I do this move on for their legs, they come out of there, they're just like, I feel like a new person. So the stretching is so valuable. Jane, we got 2 minutes to go before we wrap this bad boy. I know it's blown by. What would you like to close with? You're almost done with your chart, but go ahead and finish with whatever you'd like, and then we'll wrap this bad boy.
Well, they do address light therapy, and I'm not real familiar with light therapy other than it's been used for seasonal affective disorder, for people who live in very rainy environments and don't see a lot of sunlight.
Midwest, like we do. Yep.
Yes. So, there are advantages to light therapy. And then the only other section was, they say other. So I guess they just throw everything else that could be possible in boutique fitness into that category.
What's your take? What's your 1 minute takeaway on that, James, on the whole boutique fitness industry?
I think the boutique fitness industry serves a wonderful purpose. The big box gyms, it's more cookie cutter. Boutique fitness, you maybe get more individualized attention. You're in a smaller environment. It's probably not as intimidating. So I encourage people to support these boutique fitness facilities.
I love it. That's Jane Curth talking boutique fitness, trends in boutique fitness, and her recovery. We're going to wrap this bad boy. If our show fits your business or group's mission, we want to be of service to you. you know what? We've got a couple of segment sponsors that we could possibly talk about. Hit us up, TomMattShow.com. Always remember, before you can share love with others, you must love yourself first. Thanks to my very, very good friend, Jane Curth. Say hello to Chris. Say hello to Alan, Sandy, Matt, Craig Stiles, Brock Fletcher, everybody that's out there, Samantha Medved. We will talk to you next weekend, everybody. Have a great week. Remember, Tom Matt Show's production of Boomers Rock Media. Lastly, I want to say, what up to my hero, Mitch Anderson, our producer of this show. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. We're out.
That flew by. It flew by.
Always does. It always does. It's always good. And we'll cut it up and we'll make it all good and go from there. What did you can I take a quick break real quick and and then come right back?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
But you do the same if you need to.
I'm good. I've got water. I'm comfortable.
Sorry about that, Jane. I just had to run to the restroom.
No worries.
What did you want to talk to me about?
Okay. You might if you may have already thought about it, but tag Oura Ring. It's OURA.
OURA. Yep, I got it.
Yeah. Tag Oura Ring and Whoop Band, and
they'll probably tag.
Oh, the Whoop Band is WHOOP. It's like hoop with a W in the front.
Okay, got it. Yep.
The other thing is, when you come to Atlanta, one person I really want to introduce you to, hopefully he'll be in town at Atlanta Tech Village. His name is Jeff Gray. And Jeff Gray has started a thing called Age Tech. And what he does is bring together all these companies that are in age tech. Like I noticed he posted on LinkedIn yesterday a young man that has companion robots that look like dogs and cats for elderly adults. He has, anything you can think of that would be interesting. He's had me speak. I'm part of Age Tech, and he's had me speak there because of our fall prevention course. So Jeff's just a great guy. He has a startup called the Memory Book because his mother died of Alzheimer's, and so he tries to support that community. But anyway, a real interesting guy.
Okay, and you know what? I was just thinking too. If you wanted, if it worked out, if we wanted to do a group speaking thing or something like that along the same lines and have some fun with that.
Yeah.
I got tons of material. You just tell me what topic we want to cover. If you want to just cover, the refirement zone, for God's sake. If you want to talk about that, I'd be happy to do that too while we're down there. As much as we can pack into a couple of days. Yeah. Do it.
Yeah. Right.
Just whatever you can do. And I'm going to share with you, my little, I'll send you, I was thinking about how I send you the video so you can kind of take a look at that program I was kind of plug
Oh,
it.
yeah. There's if it's a pretty big file, have you ever used, and it's free, it's called WeTransfer.
No, I've never used it.
It's a website.
Okay.
It's called, I think it's just WeTransfer.com. And you put in your email address, my email address, you load the file and you send it to me. And it's quick and easy and free.
I think I can, I know I just got to figure out how I do it again and share the file out of Dropbox. I know I can share.
Yeah, you can do that. Have you uploaded it to YouTube?
No, because I don't have it. I have it on I'd have to look and see. I might have. No, I don't. I just have it Dropbox because I was still editing. It's there. I could put it on YouTube, but the thing that, as I told you,
Yeah,
the YouTube thing, when it's private and then you give access to it,
yeah,
I've had problems with it. I haven't done it that much, so I've had problems with it. Maybe that's what I'll do
yeah.
is I'll put it up as private and I'll just send you the link to it and then you guys can look at it.
And my stretch, when I did the small group stretch and I did the individual stretches, I also did a full session, and I did upload it and made it private on YouTube. I'll send you that link. So if you
Okay.
want to go through that, it's just, it's easy. It's the very easy, relaxed.
Yeah, and that's the thing with my program. It's like, I think with your input and looking at this thing, you could either say, no, I don't think so, or you could say,
Well,
that's it.
in the course, when I talk small group, I'm saying there are different types of stretch classes. You can do more the athletic stretching.
Yep.
You can do more the very gentle restorative stretching. There's all kind of
Did you
stretching.
see the video I cut with Doc Shingles? My orthopedic is on the back end of it. It's about a 7-minute video, but it's on my knee, managing my knee issues. Did you see that video?
No, I didn't.
Give the link to that because that's up on our
Yeah,
YouTube. That one, it's pretty decent. I mean, it's got some exercises that I came up with, and I interviewed Mike, and then we talked about what I was doing, and he said, "You're doing it the right way. You're managing it the right way.
good.
Created a video." I'll make a note of that. I'll send you that.
Yeah, send that to me.
Send the video. Okay, I got it. All right, I got to do some production work here, Jane. So I will be in touch.
Okay.
Need anything, you let me know, but I will looking forward to talking to you again. And we'll I don't know if we'll record again before. I'll probably talk to you because I'm going to see what courses you want me to
Yeah.
for my research.
Let's just hop on a call.
Let's just get a call going and just tell me which direction.
We can even do it Zoom if you want to, and I can pull up the website and we can look at all the courses.
Okay, awesome. All right, Jane. All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Okay, thanks. Tell Sandy bye.
Well,
bye.
Bye now. Love Jane Curth. She's so awesome. She's just amazing person. Just can't say enough about her. That's it. FitFix now. Going to be getting restarted with my personal training, and so just every 2 years you got to do these courses, and I enjoy doing the courses now. It used to be kind of a pain in the ass. Now it's one of those that I look forward to because I know when I'm going to do them, and I kind of have a, since I've done them 7 times now, you start to get better at things after you do them a handful of times. So anyways, hope you enjoyed this one, everybody. You know where we're at, combatshow.com. Check it all out, share it, do all the good things. Thank you so much. Peace out. We'll talk to you soon.